Hey guys, welcome back to Spilling the Reality with Trisha and Kiley on the Russell Hantz Show. And boy, do we have some tea to share today. After the fallout from Kaysar's eviction speech last night, wow, the house has imploded, guys. And we are here to tell you all about it. So if you're here to catch that, you're in the right place. Drop us a comment as we go through with your thoughts and comments of everything that we're saying, everything we're spilling, and everything you saw on Twitter last night. If you are wanting to stay spoiler free, then catch us after the episode airs this week. But come back and drop us some more comments because we know that you guys are going to have some hot takes on everything that's going on in that house right now. And we are here to hear them and talk about them. So give us a subscribe, thumbs up, and comment on your thoughts on everything going on in the house. So, Kiley, we got a very heated episode last night, and which we expected. We talked about this on our episode yesterday with James, which if you guys didn't catch that episode, it was so good. Probably one of my favorite interviews we've done so far. James really brought us all of the great opinions, and I feel like he wasn't afraid to say anything.
Yeah, it was really good to get his insight because he has been in the true Big Brother All-Star house and has played a really awesome game. And so, it was really good to hear what he's thinking about this season, confirming a lot of things that we thought, having some new insight. So if you didn't watch yesterday, go back and check it out. Let us know what you thought about it.
All right, so moving into the episode from yesterday. Whoa, okay. We know that some of y'all have been skipping episodes, okay? And that's okay because we always bring you what's been going on. But we strongly encourage you to go back, watch last night's episode on CBS, whether you recorded it, get your free trial of CBS All Access. That was the episode you want to watch. Holy crap. Before we even get to Kaysar's speech, which was so good, before that happens, we see the block. We see this cute little moment with Kaysar and Ian, and there's like this Titanic symphony music playing, and my little heart was just, oh, look at them. I love them. Oh, it was so cute. What did you think about them?
Yeah, I mean, it's a sweet little moment. Ian seems like a really genuine person. Everyone knows that we are Kaysar stans, and so Kaysar's very genuine also and has such deep connections with people. So seeing Ian being like, well, I can't vote to keep you, but, it sucks. It's so sad.
And their cute little hug at the end. Like,
Yeah, and Ian's like, come here, come here.
and like I'm not a hugger, and so when Ian like does the hug, this is how I hug. Like I'm like very awkward about it. Like don't really know how to get to the point of my end goal. But y'all, it was just so cute, and I hope they're friends forever. Even though last night on the feeds we were kind of seeing,
Yeah,
Ian trying to turn some of the things Kaysar said around, but we'll get to that.
yeah, that's good.
Then we move into the eviction speeches, and let's just start with Christmas because I don't want to go into Kaysar's just yet. Let's talk about Christmas's speech,
AKA Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, she pulled an Elena Davies or Dr. Seuss and did the rhyme.
Yeah, and we didn't talk about this on our show, y'all, but she had been practicing this speech for a long time, and she thinks she nailed it. She's like, she tells people last night, she's like, oh my gosh, like Julie was so impressed with my speech, and when Julie Chen Moonves retires, I want to host Big Brother. Like, let's just take a minute. If this was your audition, then let's not expect a callback because Christmas, no. This was really corny. She should have just ended it with a ho 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 at the end. That's what it was missing.
I have no comments on her speech.
Yeah, and let's vote the HOH way. No, let's not vote the HOH way. Like, have a backbone. The HOH way is to vote with the damn house. And no, let's not vote the HOH way. Vote how you want to vote. Grow a backbone. So we go from Dr. Seuss's kindergarten rhyme to Kaysar, a grown-ass man, who just lets these people have it. And we've got his eviction speech that we'll play for y'all. We're going to break it down, go in a few parts, and we'll talk about each part.
Yeah, let's just dive right into Kaysar speech. There's nothing else to be said on Christmas's speech. Well, actually, it's not out here, so great for technical difficulties.
That's okay. We can talk about it anyways. So, in his speech, he says, on a personal level, I love you all. Like, you're great people. But on a game level, y'all suck. And everybody kind of snickers, like, oh, ha, ha, ha. That's so funny for him to say. And then he lats into them. And first, he goes after Cody and Nicole and calls them out, which we've seen that this target has been put on them from the wall yeller. And he's like, this duo is running the house. And then he moves into, and there's this guys alliance with Cody and Tyler and Enzo and David. And as you're looking at all of these people's faces, they're like, oh shit. Like, he is really doing this. And then the best part of his eviction speech is he goes into Dani and Nicole. And he says, and then Dani and Nicole, y'all find yourself in the middle of this Cody love triangle. And Dani and Nicole and Cody's faces are like so shook. And I don't know if they took him like literal, like that he was implying that they are romantically involved, which is not what Kaysar's implying. He's implying either that
this is a literal triangle.
Yeah, this is a literal triangle, and Cody is also in a literal triangle between Cody and Nicole, Cody, Nicole, and Dani, and Cody and the Boys Alliance.
It came up. I got it now. Okay, I'm gonna play it. Kylie did a great job, but let's hear it from Kaysar's mouth,
yes,
because it's so good.
The guys have an alliance, Enzo, I already knew when we were talking, with David and Tyler, because it was obvious.
So he outs David and Tyler, along with all of the other guys, because David has really not kept that very secret. So
right,
outs that.
When it comes to gameplay and strategy, I think you guys all suck. Aww. Here's why. Cody and Nicole have been running this house since day one. And they have a secret alliance that's going to take them all the way to the end. Meanwhile...
So he confirms what the wall yeller says. Cody and Nicole running the house, and tells everyone that they suck.
Dani and Nicole and Cody. Cody finds himself in this love triangle, but no one's willing to take a shot. So here I am.
Cody's face right there.
Y'all, this is worth the 4 weeks of crappy TV that we have had to put up with. This moment, this minute and a half speech is worth every single second of the last 4 weeks.
And y'all, we were
this is what we're living for.
We were having this conversation yesterday with James, and we're like, he's not going to do it. It wouldn't be worth it. And at the end result, it might not have been worth it. But y'all, this was so good.
Like, finally. This is supposed to be a television show. Like, this is supposed to be entertaining. And then he calls them out, like, if y'all just want to play charades and have a reunion, then keep doing what you're doing. But if you want to play Big Brother, then keep me. Because I'm ready to...
if you guys want to play the game, All-Stars, or if you want to have a reunion and sit around and maybe play charades, then keep things the same. If you want to play All-Stars, then keep me here. We'll continue to play.
Mic drop.
Yeah, I was howling at my TV, y'all. I wish y'all could.
Me and Kylie immediately called each other. We called each other right after this happened, and we were like, "What? Yeah! What?" We could not believe it. Kaysar, you did the damn thing.
Yes, he turned it up for his last night. Obviously, moving on from that, we know that it didn't do anything game-wise in terms of keeping Kaysar, because he was voted out unanimously. But Seeing the
also
faces.
called Tasteless in the diary room, y'all. He got to Danny's core. He got to her core.
Yeah, but seeing their faces in the DR, he got to these people's souls, y'all,
I
and
think we have a
everybody.
picture of like a
Yeah.
collage of everyone's face. Oh, so yeah, here's their face. Let's just go through these one by one. What? Cody, y'all? He is what? He
Cody
never
is
expecting this.
so pissed, and
Then Memphis
Danny,
is just kind of
yeah,
like,
yeah, Cody, Memphis, Nicole, so pissed, and it's great, y'all.
then,
And then
let's get to Kevin,
let's
okay?
talk about
Because
Kevin.
Kevin comes in there, and this picture, well, I don't know if y'all caught it, or maybe you were looking at your phone texting, blowing up someone, but when Kevin voted, y'all, I think he was the first vote. He looked like this the whole time. Like, he said a name and was like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and he's got his little blanket over his shoulders. It's too much.
He kills me. Like,
Yeah,
he's
so funny. Not great at the game, but he's really funny.
Not good at the game at all, but
okay, hold on real quick. We're gonna pop this comment from Sam up here. Which speech is better, Kaysar's speech in All Stars 2 or Dr. Will's speech in All Stars 1? Okay, so Dr. Will's speech, I'm assuming you're talking about the one where he says that he hates everybody and then they all vote to keep him. That is pretty iconic, but because All Stars was an entertaining season, I'm going to have to give this speech the award to Kaysar, because Kaysar did it in a boring ass season and gave us something to talk about and really shook up the house with it. So we're going to give the award to Kaysar. Dr. Will is going to have to take runner-up on this one.
He doesn't take runner-up often, but he's going to take it on this one.
Yeah, it was great. But it's also recency bias. We may change our mind later.
Yeah. Don't come at us, haters, on that one, okay?
Yeah.
Don't. Please stop.
We're riding the high from the Kaysar speech.
Woo! Okay, so we're gonna take it a notch down. Kaysar gives his speech. It doesn't get him any votes, but no worries, because he goes out there, talks to Julie with his mask
back
on.
it up.
Whoa.
Let's talk about the hugs.
First
of all,
yeah. Let's talk about them hugs.
When Julie reads the votes, that house is dead silent. Like, kind of like when Jackson Mickey walked out last year and had won, and he looked like, his dog had died because he found out that everybody thought that he was a racist and they hated him. It was that same level of silence. Like, everybody was so shook by Kaysar. And the people
And in this, this was in the house, because there's not an audience outside. So in the house, everyone is just
crickets.
What? Yeah.
Oh, so entertaining.
So then, he's going to give his hugs, which I was really happy that people were giving him hugs. Like, it started with, like, I don't remember.
Nobody really wanted to.
Well, no, someone did. Like,
I think it may have been Day. Yeah.
Yeah, like, she gave the first hug, and then everyone and even Tyler was like, I love you, dude. Like, he made a little
and Cody's
comment.
even like, it's not personal. Like,
right. He didn't take it wrong at all.
But Danny and Nicole.
Woo!
So mad.
If looks could kill. I mean, so we have on our screen here the picture of Kaysar hugging Nicole, and it's even perfect because in the background is her wall picture of her smiling, and then look at her face. She's pissed. She is like offended. She does not want to hug him.
Yeah, and Danny literally looks like, I do not even want to touch you, you filth. She's so mad.
She's pissed. Which kind of just confirms, like, if I were in that house, I would be Kevin right here in this picture. Looking at that, like, I'm suspect. All right, so then
if they would have listened to Kaysar, he'd been telling them this for 4 weeks. He just finally had the platform to say it to them all as one group.
Ed says, I don't think Kaysar's going to the wedding.
I think his invitation was probably retracted too. So that's okay. It was worth every penny of that $3,000 invitation.
Yeah. All right. So then after this, we move into Julie, having conversation with Kaysar, and Kaysar explains that this was a Hail Mary. He wasn't doing this to actually get votes. He didn't think that would work. He really just had nothing to lose, so why not? And then Julie says, we saw a lot of moments with you, and we did air them about the deep conversations that you would have with people like Davon in the house about things, cultural differences, racial differences. And she was like, did you go into the house to make a difference? And Kaysar gave the most heartfelt response to this, saying that he was like, production's going to kill me for this, but I didn't go back into this house for the money. He was like, I definitely do know that this show gives me a platform, and I want to make the world a better place. It's pretty much the gist of his conversation. And y'all, we need shirts. Where are the shirts? Someone bank on this merch, because me and Kylie
Kaysar
aren't
for
creative
president.
enough. Kaysar President 2020, because it's happening.
Yeah, like he's just a super classy guy, grade A individual. Big Brother is lucky to have had somebody like Kaysar 3 times. And we've all been lucky to get to see him on our screen. And, hopefully, like, him and Janelle moved to the same town and we just start a reality show about their families. That's what I'm here for, guys.
Yeah.
We need more Kaysar and Janelle on our screen. But then, as Kaysar's given this speech, we get Julie saying, and that's why the public decided to vote you back in. And Kaysar's like, what?
And all of America is like, what?
I'm going back in the house. And I'm like, okay, she just revealed everything to him. There is no way he's going back in the house. And she's like, no. 15 years ago. 15 years ago. And Kaysar says, oh my God, I don't want to go back in there. Like, he's 1000% done. I was hoping that this twist was going to keep him in the house, but seeing that comment from him, like, yes, let's just let this man go back to his family, go back to his real life and his career, and let's just let these clowns play Big Brother.
Okay, so then after that, we move into the HOH comp, which was one of those comps where they look at the pictures, press the button, and it's a like a bracket style kind of knockout. And so random draw, Ian and Kevin are at first, which again, WTF. I'm frustrated that they're doing this comp in the first place, because I feel like this comp only benefits large alliances, a popular group per se. So I'm pissed that this is a comp. I'm pissed that Kevin and Ian are up by random draw. I don't think CBS, I do think CBS watches our show because we're just that big. And I think that they just literally do everything we don't want.
Yeah, well, maybe. So I'm not completely pissed about this comp. Like, I like that it made people show their cards a little bit. Like, if there were any doubt in anyone's minds where things are drawn, it's very, very evident from this comp. What I don't like is Kevin wins the first round against Ian, and he absolutely makes the right decision. I'm going to put up Cody and Nicole, but Kevin, please just freaking own it. And he stands there and he's like, oh, I don't know. I guess Cody and Nicole, because I don't know. No, Cody and Nicole, you bitches go up together.
Yeah,
one of you needs to go.
He said, I'm freaking out right now.
Yeah, I'm freaking out. No, own it. Just put their asses up there.
I mean, I really do think he is genuinely shook by everything that's happened.
I think he shook, but everybody knew that's what you had to do. And like, I just think about whenever, like back on BB8, whenever Evil Dick and Danny were on there together, and Evil Dick wins the final head of household, and I don't even remember who the third place person was now, but he's like, get the hell out, it's me and my daughter. Like, that's the energy level I was coming for. Like, get your ass up there, it's you two.
Right.
And no, that's not what we got. But then Cody wins that round and immediately is like, Kevin, like, dude, he has no problem throwing your name up there. He had no problem nominating you. Like,
it's a scared game. It's a scared game whether you go this way or that way. They're all just playing scared.
Yeah,
but then the cards, I feel like the cards then really get shown when Danny picks Bailey and Davon to go up next to each other.
Yeah. Like, cards revealed. Y'all are, the Slick Six is officially done. Dani has thrown it up there.
Yeah, I mean, because at that point, they were literally just going off of what, I mean, Kaysar didn't say Day and Bay's name. So Dani is literally confirming right here by picking these two people that she is not with them.
Right.
Exactly. Like, she's pissed.
And this lights a fire under Davon's ass. Like, you can literally see it on her face where she's like, okay, I'm fixing to turn up. And she smokes through like 3 rounds.
Yeah, she goes up there and she is just pressing the button as fast as she can. But with the right answer, I was like, dang.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know what?
Really
2020's been a whole crap year. And guys, we're fixing to get something good. We get Christmas and Davon come up here together. And I am like, huh? What'd you say?
I was going to say that Christmas. So it comes down to Christmas versus what? Tyler?
Christmas and Tyler.
Tyler presses the button. It's wrong. So
no, it was Christmas in Memphis, I think.
Oh, yeah. It was Christmas. It was somebody. And the other person presses the button and gets it wrong. So they're out. Christmas is left. Davon's the only one left. So it's them two against each other.
Dear 8-pound, 6-ounce baby Jesus.
Sweet, sweet baby Jesus. And Davon presses her button to make her guess on how many orange characters were up there.
And this was probably the easiest one too. Like,
it was probably the easiest
blatant. Like,
there was a lot of fucking orange ones up there. And it wasn't less, Davon. It wasn't less, but she hits less. Like, I don't think she meant to. There's no way she got all of those right and gets this one wrong. Right? Am I crazy?
Yeah,
what
it was
happened?
Heartbreaking. Just typical 2020 crap, guys.
So Christmas wins HOH.
You don't get anything good.
By not doing anything. By just standing there.
Once again.
Which is what she's used to.
Yeah. Christmas got to win HOH by just being the last one left.
Which also happened to her in her last season in a comp that was all based on running and speed, and she had a broken leg.
So frustrating.
And still won.
And then let's also talk about Nicole, like, almost bowling over Davon so she can run up and jump on Christmas and be so excited that her best friend Christmas just won. Like, Davon is like, aren't we supposed to be in an alliance together? Because why are you so excited this girl just won? And we will get to that because they do have a conversation about it later. But Nicole is like,
there is a conversation.
Yeah. Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah. I mean, let's just go ahead and talk about that now. That Bailey or Davon and Nicole have a conversation about what happened in the comp.
Mm-hmm.
So Davon goes up to Nicole and is kind of like, hey, girl, like, why were you so extra jumping up on Christmas like that? And
oh, I would have been excited if you were too. I was so excited. 2 girls. 2 girls were in the final. Like, I'm here for girl power, don't you know?
And Davon's not take you seriously because Nicole is really doing this, y'all. We can't make this up. And we're like, we're shook again. Because what on earth is Nicole doing saying she's there for girls? That's a lie. That's lie number 3,000 that she's told so far in just like 5 hours. So yeah, Davon pulls Nicole to the side, says, what's going on? Why did you do that? And she also asked her, like, why did
Dani doing this?
Yeah. And she's like, aren't you 2 best friends? Like, I thought, like, we're close. Y'all are close. Like, why would she do that? And Nicole's like, well, I don't have any control over what Dani does. Sorry.
Yeah. But I don't think she's going for you. Y'all just need to talk and clear things up.
Yeah, so she tells them they need to talk, but Day and Dani need to talk it out. And Day's, like, F that, whatever. Yeah. But they agreed to talk more frequently. So my read on this is that, Nicole is trying to keep her in with Davon. We know on the first week that Davon really, she cried to Davon. I was like, I owe you, because Davon was the winning vote for her season that she won. But I hope Davon is seeing through this still and is not trusting her.
Yeah. So disappointing, y'all. Just
We wish we were lying.
someone over here, I saw a comment that I was gonna pop up. I don't know. Anyways,
Okay.
somebody, I can't find it. Somebody asked, like, well, or insinuated, oh, here it is. It's right in front of my face. Ed says that, too bad Christmas will only do what Enzo says to do. Y'all, we need to hope that this is what Christmas does. We're going to get into the talks of what Christmas is planning, but Enzo needs to try to push his hand here because homegirl is heading down a
we do
bad
see
path.
after the feeds. So we saw before the feeds that Christmas and Christmas and Enzo seemed really close. Like they even showed it on the TV. They seem really close, and they even had a conversation prior to this HOH. Enzo and Christmas are talking, and Enzo's like, "Hey, this is before veto. Hey, if you win this week, then you need to put up Dani. Like Dani needs to be the target." Because he didn't want to do it himself. Enzo's a clown. Bye. But he tells Christmas to put Dani up this week. So Enzo and Christmas, we do not get to see a conversation between them.
Okay, maybe we're going to still get something good this week. Like they're already like on their heels. Kaysar left them shook, so maybe something is good is going to happen. But
Enzo and Kevin, so Enzo still is feeling this way, and we see that on the feeds last night. Enzo and Kevin have a conversation that they agree Dani does need to be the target this week, and Kevin's like, well, we only need 5 votes. He's very optimistic because he's like 2 of those votes are going to be Bailey and Davon, so he's hoping that he's thinking those 2 don't go up. So he's like, we just need 1 more vote. To get someone. So.
And we know that Tyler has been pushing this agenda. So I'm like, the votes are there. The votes are there for Dani to go. Absolutely.
If she gets on the block, she's will go.
Gone. Yeah. But y'all, just you should not have any expectations for this season. Any expectations you have, just throw them out the window, because we're just going to call this Cody's 5th HOH reign, because it is looking like, from the talks that she has, mainly with Tyler and then also with Nicole and Dani, and Cody himself, is she's going to go after Bay and Day.
Yeah, she pretty much says that she's having a conversation with Tyler, and she says it's obvious that we nominate Bay and Day, right? And Tyler's like, yeah, those 2 are now coming after Dani, and
which at first, though, in this conversation, Tyler does kind of seem like, is that obvious? Like, no, Christmas, that's not the obvious thing. Like, let's make a big move here. And Christmas is like, yes, it's so obvious. And Tyler, being the savvy player that he is like, okay, she's already got her mind made up, and if I push my agenda, then I'm going to make myself a target, because she's going to tell the other girls that I'm trying to throw them up.
So he does ask her in this conversation, he's like, are there other people that you're leaning towards? And Christmas just pretty much explains her thought process behind those 2 being the reason, pretty much because it's the safe choice. She says that she doesn't have a lot of names, but she feels that if she puts them up, she's still protected. That's pretty much the safest move, which is why she's considering putting them up next week.
Which she is right about. It is not a good move, but yes, if you put up Bay and Day, no one is going to be that pissed.
Right.
That's just reality.
Let's put up Bay and Day and backdoor Dani.
Let's not put up Bay or Day at all. Let's backdoor Dani. Let's put her up with
Kevin
Nicole
up and
Cody. No, Nicole and Cody.
She is not going to
Nicole or Cody and Dani.
She's not going to do that.
No, she's not.
Don't even say it, because then everything that we say doesn't happen.
It's just so hard.
It's so hard. So universe, we want her to put up Bay and Day. Duh.
Yeah.
All right. So then Christmas also has a conversation with Cody about after this conversation with Tyler, where they're talking about Dani and Nicole are sweating about this decision. which I feel like makes them look so guilty and really shows their cards. But who am I? I'm not in the house, just watching the feeds here. Christmas talks to Cody and says that Kaysar talked to Bailey and Davon about putting Dani and Tyler on the block in order to backdoor him. To Cody, backdooring Cody. She added that they're apparently down for that plan. And when Cody asked about Christmas's plans for noms, she said the choice is obvious, that she's going to put up Bay. So Christmas is just kind of bouncing off that Kaysar speech, bouncing off that Kaysar's a bad guy. He's the villain. We got him out. Hoorah. Kind of thing. So as of now, it looks like, just based on the conversations we saw,
same shit, different day.
Yeah, Bay and Day are going up, guys.
Not good.
Well,
let's talk about Ian, because Ian was not implicated in the Kaysar speech, and so if you're not implicated, that kind of puts you on the wrong side of the house with Christmas winning HOH. So we see Ian backtracking, and Ian is straight up like, oh, no, I wasn't throwing Dani's name around. I haven't said that Nicole and Cody are running this house. Kaysar. That was all Kaysar. And he was telling me things and getting into my head and making me not trust people. And so we're going to call this little segment, Ian Lied, Nicole Cried.
Yeah, so Ian has a conversation with Bailey. And Bailey is like, what is going on? Like, what happened here? And who's being targeted? And Ian said that he's just a paranoid person. He told Bailey that Kaysar twisted things and made it seem like Nicole was saying that Bailey would nominate him. And Ian claimed that Kaysar was trying to drive a wedge between him and Nicole. And Bailey said, well, she's tried of being tricked and lied to, and she feels as though her conversation with Ian was a trap the other day. Ian denies it. He screwed up.
No, it wasn't a trap. Yeah, like I screwed up. And he's like got his head in his hands, and he's like, I'm so sorry, Day, and calls her the wrong name. Y'all, we're this close. We're seeing BB20 Bailey.
Bailey explosion is about to happen, guys.
When Ian calls her the wrong name, she's like, you know what? I need a minute. Like, I am just we're just interchangeable to y'all. We don't mean anything.
She's like, we don't have our own identities. She's pissed.
Yeah, she's pissed. And like, I mean, I think this is a genuinely honest mistake on Ian, but it was a big mistake on Ian's part. Yeah. Because
to do it to Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey is just, she's done, guys.
So then Bailey goes to Davon and she's like, guess what conversation I just had, and tells, Davon about the conversation and also tells Davon about Ian running back to Nicole to apologize for spreading rumors to Kaysar. He thought Bailey and Davon were coming for him and the whole shebang. And so Bailey tells all this to Davon.
Yeah.
And Davon tells Kevin that, so then after that, Davon is talking to Kevin and says that there's a plan to take her and Bailey out. So Davon is seeing, she's seeing what's happening.
Yeah.
And Bailey explained that Ian has been running back and forth with information. He's a little mail carrier, just bloop, 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 bloop. And she believes that Ian caught them in a trap. And she said that Ian has now been caught and Kaysar didn't twist anything. So Bailey and Davon don't think Kaysar twisted anything.
Right.
Which he didn't.
Yeah. And I mean, Ian is doing all this because he is like, okay, they're going after Davon and Bailey. Like, I better try to get back in the good graces of Nicole because I don't want to be on this side anymore. Like, I think Ian was going to go wherever the numbers were. So he's trying to do some damage control. I think long term that this is going to be really, really bad for Ian because now nobody trusts Ian. And I think he's made a really, really crucial game mistake because he's lying and he's not lying well.
Right.
So we'll see what happens, but his relationship with Bay and Day is damaged. His relationship with Nicole is damaged. And he already didn't have a lot of places to land anyways. So I think Ian's kind of in trouble. We'll see if anything comes of it this week.
Yeah. So Bailey and Nicole have a conversation and it doesn't really go well. because after this conversation, Nicole cries to Dani and Tyler that this talk didn't go well because Bailey is coming after her. Nicole says that Ian claims in front of them that he did not say anything and that Kaysar is a liar. So Nicole just assumes that Davon is also upset with her since Bailey made a comment that friendships are ruined. And Nicole wondered if Ian is throwing her into the best left and right. Dani said she doesn't think so. Tyler also told her that Ian did not betray her. That, Ian genuinely felt bad. And so we do see that Ian does make this up. Ian goes to Nicole later and says, I didn't, I wasn't meaning to hurt you and I didn't do any of this. Like, this was all twisted around. They kind of, mend the issue there. So we do see, Nicole crying about this and she's upset, but they end up fixing it. We also know that Davon and Nicole later have a conversation that we talked about earlier, where they also kind of mend this. But I mean, there was lots of tears after the speech happened.
Yeah, and then in typical snake hole fashion, she then has this conversation with Davon where she's like, oh, I didn't mean to celebrate like that in front of you, and we're good, and, I don't believe this from Ian. Like, I know that I wouldn't come after you, you wouldn't come after me. And then she runs up to Christmas's HOH room and is laughing about how she felt so relieved that Christmas won and that her game flashed before her eyes, and it's just
she doesn't trust she doesn't trust Davon. I mean, that's she blatantly says that, and I mean pretty much leads to that. But her having this conversation with Christmas is also it's telling us she doesn't truly trust Davon. It tells us that she's not truly with Davon. And she then even says that Davon should be targeted.
Yeah.
This week. And that, Bailey and Davon should go up, and she agrees with that. So, after that whole talk with Davon and Nicole, was completely ingenuine on Nicole's part.
Yeah. So, shocker.
We cries and lies.
Yeah, cries and lies. We do get a conversation with the rest of the Misfits: David, Kevin, Bailey. Am I leaving one out?
No, it's just those four.
Okay, those four. Anyways, and they are like, okay, let's officially work together.
Woo! Yes. Okay.
5th week, guys. 5th week.
It's week number 5. David is finally learning what alliances are. He still doesn't know how the game works.
Kevin is like, let's make it official. Like, we need to have a handshake. And Bailey's like, why? Like, it's unspoken. We've had each other's backs. This is what we've been talking about. And Kevin's like, no, I need a handshake. And Bailey's like, why? Y'all, David, this man says, oh, you don't want to shake hands because of COVID?
Let me just get my mask.
They are living in a house together for 4 weeks. They have been in sequester for 2 weeks. And they are COVID tested every week.
They share food. They share food together.
Like, what? What the hell? What is wrong with this man?
Because of COVID, we don't need to shake hands. And I could just feel Bailey rolling her eyes in this conversation.
Like, I honestly don't know how they don't just shake him. So he's worried about COVID, and they don't need to have a handshake because of that.
Yeah. So we see the Misfits. They come together. As of right now, just Bailey and Davon are going up. We will see noms happen today on the show. So
unless Enzo can get in Christmas's ear, like, y'all, we need to. I know that we shouldn't say the things that we want to happen because they don't ever, but like, we need to be rooting for an Enzo and Christmas showmance for real, because we need something that is going to get through Christmas's head. True.
Russell talked about this on his show last night with Rachel Swindler, and I was like, commenting like, Russell, what are you like? No, like Christmas.
Yeah, no, but it's what we need. It's what we need. We need them to have a showmance because Enzo needs to get into her ear and she needs to target Danny. I mean, it is not off the table, obviously, until the veto ceremony is over. We don't know if she, can end up backdooring somebody. So there's a lot of week left. But as of today, with how things went last night when everybody went to bed, Bay and Day will be going up on the block. Bailey will be the target.
I don't ship this showmance. I just ship the strategy, okay? To be clear.
But, we need to give Tyler a little bit of credit because he's got a whole week to try to spin things and get Danny up there. And he's a dang good player, and Christmas is not. So he can influence her.
I saw this tweet last night.
He can influence Enzo, too.
I saw this tweet last night, and it said something like, or someone commented, and they said that someone said like, what's going to happen with noms? And someone responded and said, well, whenever Paul tells Christmas what to do with it, that's when we'll know.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's so good.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Y'all go follow us on Twitter. We were on fire last night. We not only do we tweet, we're not super creative when it comes to tweets. We are as creative as we can be, but there are so many good tweets out there that we retweet to put them in your feed. So we're kind of a one-stop shop. If you want to follow us on Twitter, we are retweeting all of the best. And Instagram, posting them on there too. We've got some great memes out there. So check us out at RealiTEA_TRHS on Twitter. And that brings us to our tweet of the day.
Tweet. Y'all, there were so many good ones to choose from yesterday, but
it was so hard to choose.
We decided to take the best one that we saw. Like I said, there were so many good ones, but Dr. Will came out last night and wanted to put some thoughts out into the Twitterverse, and we have to recognize this from at Dr. Will Kirby.
Says, if this season of at CBS Big Brother was immediately canceled and you could choose between having this exact same cast start the season all over or have me play with 15 completely random people, what would you suggest I wear on the first night? And we know Dr. Will is always going to bring the cockiness to the show. Rightfully so.
It's true. Yeah, because
it's true. But we want to hear your thoughts. Sound off in our comments on what you would rather. What are your thoughts on this season and the cast? And if it started all over, would it be any better? What are one or two players? I mean, we kind of talked about Josh being on there yesterday and how he would be great. Drop your thoughts in our comments on what you're thinking would make this season better. Would it be Dr. Will? Meh. Who knows? Y'all let us know what you think.
Let's pop this up here and talk about that. What do you think the powers from the BB basement will be? We did get the introduction of the next twist. It will be a competition done completely in the dark. And y'all, David's got to be having some PTSD. Like, I'm not going nowhere in the dark in this Big Brother house. I'm going to find myself in camp, come back. He thinks he just worked himself out of it. So
that's honestly probably what he thinks the whole premise of Big Brother is.
Yeah,
is being in a dark room.
He's been in the dark. It's such a nice little
he lives in the dark
comparison there.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
The powers, I don't really know either because at this point we've thrown every idea out and CBS hasn't done not one of them. So
I could see it being kind of similar to like the power apps, like a couple weeks of safety or as
like you get an extra vote or it's going to be something like
where you get to put yourself into the POV. So, like if Danny is worried that she's going to be backdoored and she wins the power, she can put herself into the veto comp. I think it'll just be typical.
It'll just be something small like that. Like not like changing the HOH or change who goes home last minute or anything like that. It'll be like still a vote, the identity theft, y'all are comment sounding off. Diamond Veto, that would be a good one.
Yeah, it'll be something I think that we've already seen before.
Yeah. So happening today, like we said earlier, the noms will happen today. So we'll be sure to bring you guys that on our show tomorrow. So be sure to check back in. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter because we post it there before we get to come to you guys at 12 o'clock every day. So if you're wanting it as soon as it drops, you can follow us on our social media at RealiTEA_TRHS. What else, Kylie? Anything else?
Nope, I think that's it.
All right, so that brings us to the end of our show today, y'all. Don't forget to drop a comment on the video. Even if you're commenting over here as we're going live, be sure to drop us a comment on your thoughts of the show, all things Big Brother. Reply to some comments. We've got lots of great feedback out there every day of great strategy talk, thoughts, hot takes. So drop your comments, check back. Don't forget to hit us with a thumbs up so that we can keep bringing you this content every day, guys. We have so much fun doing this and we want to keep doing it. So hit us with a thumbs up, share us with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe so you get a notification when we go live every day. Cheers to that. Bye, y'all.
Bye.